Mike or Steve, while all the changes are important, talk about how the roof or the canopy is really stands out as something really important in all that you're talking about to be able to attract what you want to attract. Is it still really the linchpin of what you're doing here, or?
Oh, I mean, I think it certainly, when you look at it, it makes it really an iconic statement. But I mean, being successful in anything, it's a question of having all the details. And that's one of the details. It'll represent probably a little less, maybe 30% of what we're spending the money on. So I mean, that's how much has to be spent, you know, and that's probably new, most of replacing and modernizing and doing everything else. Because I think it's a lot cheaper to do that now as opposed to wait and build a new stadium later on. And that's really, and that cost is probably closer to $1 billion, you know. Now, why a roof, and why is that an important part? I think when you see what the weather is here, and I think, you know, maybe there's a thing called global warming, and you start to sit there as like a torture chamber for a Dolphin game. But more important, to get the Super Bowl, the commissioner said, unless you do something, we're not coming here, you know. And they're going to places where they build new stadiums. They're going to New York. They're going to New York. They're going to San Francisco is what we're competing. We're a finalist. What's happened is that the NFL has voted. There's 2 cities for Super Bowl 50, and that's going to be the most major thing. What will fall out from Super Bowl 50 in terms of the PR and the activities and the major event. It'll make everything look small, you know, compared to that. It's between Miami and San Francisco, which is building a brand new stadium to be open and ready for that. Now, we have a natural advantage in that we have the best weather in the United States during that time of the year. I mean, that's why you want to take advantage of what Miami has, and having a facility like that. Now, the roof will also protect against any potential weather, but we also see it for other events besides then the Dolphin games in September and October. But bringing in the summertime, for us to be able to bring these major soccer events, and we are bringing major soccer events here. That we formed a company. We hired the people from CAA that did that, you know, around the country for that purpose. And without a stadium, you can't have a soccer events in July and August, you know, at night. It just won't work. You know, and having national coverage, you know, from that, or international coverage. So that's, you know, that is important, but it's also important that, you know, Miami is such a world-class city, and where direction is not to have a first-class facility that is really the whole world is looking at. It would be crazy. I mean, we are a world-class city, and we have to act like a world-class city, and that's why we're doing so well. You know? In other words, we don't benefit from the Super Bowl. We, as the Miami Dolphins, we give the facility, and they take it over. They pay everything, and they collect every penny, and they don't pay us for anything. So it's not just like, hey, this is how we benefit. We don't. But who benefits? It's Miami, South Florida, are the beneficiaries. But I think, and then we look to see what other events and how can we really make this. I think this soccer is going to be a boom to having something here on a recurring basis with national television. That's why we sought out to get a national broadcaster to be a sponsor in this, so that it will be telecast around the world, you know, and doing things like that, you know. And I would, you know, look at our track record as opposed to anybody else's, you know, and what they're doing.
We're the Miami Dolphins. We've got great fans and great support in Broward County, but the stadium's in Miami-Dade County. We have to focus in Miami-Dade County, and as such, we need to make sure that we, you know, make sure there's quid for the quo as it relates to things that, you know, economic benefits that we can drive to Miami-Dade County, and that has to be part of this discussion.
Is there a new argument or a different approach for the legislature this time around? Because last time it did not go very well, although that seemed a sort of a tentative approach.
Well, you know, I don't want to, you know, Monday morning quarterback what happened last time, but to Steve's earlier point, I think this is an entirely different approach. I think we've got a much more, I'm glad you noticed the people in the room. I mean, this is not about the Dolphins and Steve. This is about, you know, a strong coalition of community support already coming together for this. We know there's going to be some endorsements today. The Lowe's Hotel just sent out a release supporting this and supporting our efforts to do this. We'll suspect there'll be others. You know, I think you're going to see a groundswell of community support. It's not going to be unanimous, but I think you're going to see a much different picture in terms of what we're willing to do and what people are recognizing is on the line. Last time around, there was a hypothetical Super Bowl. Will we ever get a chance? This time, there's a Super Bowl, and Super Bowl 50. We got 18 weeks to get it done, and that's what we're going to be
Do you have better
focused on.
support from the delegation?
Well, I think by the nature of our House sponsor having the chair of of the Miami-Dade delegation willing to drive this bill, that speaks for itself. He was, was in Speaker Weatherford's, leadership team, and he's leading the effort on the House side. And Senator Brandon is a strong proponent on the Senate side, and we know there'll be co-sponsors we're already aware of who are lined up to put their name on the bill as well. So. Again, nobody's suggesting it's going to be easy, but I think we're in a much different position this time around than we were 2 years ago.